How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lo4f, and today I got some mission gameplay. Had a bit of fun tonight. I've been messing around quite a lot. I've been playing around with this ice, as you can see. I've been seeing what breaks and what doesn't, and I ended up doing that. Is it called Like Brothers or something? Where you got to go and rescue a Zix. First of all, I'll show you kind of what I've been up to just before we go on our missions. Obviously, got a loaf with me. Get yourself a loaf. See that island in the middle is like, you can't break that, and a couple of these little bits are like islands as well. We've got the Navistar, Bruce is in on the action, the Kolob, the White Western Star. I'm going to call him Walter White, got a meth lab on his back. I mean, another loaf. Get yourself plenty of loaves. Thought we got a Voron Grad over there, another loaf. Get yourself another loaf. Later on in the night, I don't think I left it in the video, but I made my way more down this way. Pretty much, not all of it, but I carved basically the lot of it out. I just wanted to know where there's any little islands and bumps and whatnot. Having a quick test with the Taiga. I'm bringing the Taiga out tonight because, I don't know, it's not been in that many videos. It does the review, usually flips them in the mountains, but yeah, I've not had a good old play around with it really on this map. Well, I have actually, that's a lie, but I've not really like done any missions. I've just been floating around here and drifting around and messing around with it really. Yeah, pretty successful night's damage, I would say. I've had worse nights. So yeah, anyway, we'll get on with this Like Brothers mission. To be honest, it's one of the few missions I've drove past it loads and I kept forgetting to select it, so I couldn't actually like already start tracking the mission now. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go there first and unlock it, but we're on our way. The Taiga's actually not too bad through there. Obviously I've smashed a lot of the ice, so you can't get as much of it like caught up on the front bumper, but yeah, it was doing alright, especially with the big custom muds. There is times where chained would be handier, but that's like the I don't know, it's the choice you make. I've put chain ties on my loaf, obviously my OG loaf, that's always usually got the muds on. I tried to put this on here, basically what I could have done, and I knew I could have, I put a sideboard on, but I wanted to see how well it went like this. So at least I got a roof rack and some spare fuel. However, it didn't last too long. I had it winched from the middle, but the cab of the Taiga's too narrow, so yeah, it's like as you tip sideways, it had enough room to pop the wheel over the side and then it could actually tip. If you had like a nice wide roof like the Dolphin, it wouldn't it wouldn't be able to get enough slack in the winch to do so. But anyway, I'm going to tow it behind me. What I was kind of thinking anyway, which is why I didn't bring a sideboard and I just wanted to test propping it up, was say for example I'm off to like sort the Zix out. I didn't know at this point if it was damaged, if it needed fuel or what, so yeah, I mean I normally bring a loaf with me anyway, but say for example if I wanted to bring a maintenance trailer, then I'd either have to, I knew I had to deliver that Zix to the somewhere else, so I'd either have to bring the maintenance trailer with me the whole way, or I'd have to dump it where the Zix is and then leave 6 odd grand there, which is what I earn pretty much for doing the Zix mission. So yeah, obviously bringing this as and when I'm done with it, my plan was to arrive there, fix the Zix or whatever, fuel it up, and then I could just recover the loaf to the garage, and then obviously it's no trailer like left around, because as much as I do enjoy leaving the odd trailer around, it's yeah, in the long run it gets expensive. I had a little go through that ice. To be honest, the only thing I noticed is like it's not all sort of patches of ice there, as in like solid blocks of ice. It looked kind of like I was driving through, say, a slush puppy at one point, where I was just gnawing away at like the width of the wheels. But soon got through that. I do enjoy the Taiga when you put it in high. It's no coincidence that some of my more enjoyed trucks are all pretty pretty nice in high. I'm going to do as well, because I've near enough got to the end of the reviews, or reviews for the truck so far. Obviously there's more trucks and stuff coming out in the update soon. I'm going to do videos of like my favourite trucks basically, and why they're my favourite, what I like getting up to with them. Of course the Lo4f's bound to be in there somewhere, but yeah, that's what I want to sort of start aiming towards next. Do a bit of gameplay with the, say, yeah, the Tiger, the Dolphin, obviously the Lo4f. I mean, he's probably going to be in every one anyway. Yeah, like there's others. I mean, I'll have to go through and remember what it is I like driving. It's pretty cool that there's like an abandoned helicopter and stuff in there as well. I found another one on the map the other day. I'll do it at some point. I suppose more Lake Coved mission gameplay. Took Bruce out, and if any of you have picked that, it's like a service spare part or something sat near, or a vehicle spare part maybe, sat near a helicopter that's just like abandoned in the mountains. Got old Bruce to do that. I've noticed as well, you know, they're like trees that are just laying on the floor. For the last, possibly since this Lake Coved update, when you ran over them trees, they dropped into the ground very quickly, which was pretty nice. I've noticed, I think it might have been since last night or whatever, that pretty recently anyway, it's like they seem to stay there longer now, and they've already blocked me a couple of times. When I was going through that ice, some of those trees laying on the ground basically stopped my Tiger, which is why I just cut a bit of it out, but I winched forward and then I got out of there. So I got here. I'll have a look at the mission. If you want to read it, I'd just pause it, because I didn't leave like 20 seconds of it in or anything. Yeah, called Light Brothers. There's about 6,100 in cash, which is pretty nice. Yeah, you got to get it over there, which is not too far past like that darker patches where you get the TUZ-16. There's the rock cliff that's pretty near it. It's in the middle of that battle on the ice lap you've got to do, so it's not too far away. And obviously right now the original plan, as I said, was just to like take any fuel, any repairs I need off the Lo4f, and then recover it back to the garage. But this is the problem. I'm like, well, it's pretty hard to say goodbye to a Lo4f, so having a look around, like, how can I get that Lo4f in that Zix? That is what I need to try and figure out. And I already knew. I mean, I didn't get it in first try, that's what she said, but I tried this first. Like, I just already knew from other things that I could reverse up the custom mud of a Tiger. Funny how you find these things out. So yeah, stuck my arse up in the air, dragged the Zix over here, get it nice and close. I was like, well, that's looking good. That's what we like to see. But I stuck a winch to the back of the Lo4f, and then I winched it to that tree in front of the Zix. And when I start pulling, it tries to obviously shorten the distance, but it pushes my back wheels like behind the Zix rather than up over the top of it. So what I need to do is winch from the front of my truck, like that. Yeah, that's when I was looking at that and I was like, nah. Winch from the front of my truck and then to that tree. Oh, I'm just going to drag the Zix closer again. But then there's nowhere else for like the back end of my truck to go. Like if I start pulling from the front, it's going to have to ride up over the Tiger wheel. And I knew I was, I mean, yeah, give it a go. What a goddamn beauty. At Snow Lo4f, we never put a healthy Lo4f down. And for just 3 dolphins a month, you too can get yourself a Lo4f. So he's coming with us, I've decided. He's earned it. But by the way, as for fixing the Zix, they've done this on a few missions, and it does... I think it's a bad decision from them. Like, basically, it was about 319 points or whatever to fix this. The Lo4f's got 300 points on it. You'd have to bring... I believe The maintenance trailer, I think, has 350 points, but if you have a maintenance add-on, I'm pretty certain they have 300 points. So even if I had a maintenance add-on, I don't think I would have fixed it. And the reason I think it's just a bad decision on their part is you go to X amount of effort to do a mission, and then you get there and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm 19 points short, and it's like, now I'm going to have to go and recover or go back to somewhere else and effectively do the whole drive back, even though it's like a formality, you've already got there. And it just kind of takes the edge off what you've just done. It's like, oh, well, you know, like, I haven't really achieved a lot of basically. Yeah, and as I said, like, if I had a trailer, it'd have enough points, but now I'd have a trailer on me that I'd also have to be dragging along through trees and all sorts, and if I had a Taiga, a trailer, and then the Zix, it's quite a long, snaky line of things to be weaving through trees. So, yeah, it's just a bit of a pain in the ass. Like I say, I wasn't that bothered because, one, I already knew where I was heading, is pretty close to where I've been smashing the ice and all sorts, so it wasn't anything major. If I had to take this up to, like, right up to the corner near where you got the F750, I'd be a bit more pissed off about having to then drive something else from the garage all the way there. Not because I don't want to drive all over the map, but it's like, yeah, it's just a bit like, well, why do I have to be made to repeat the same thing just because they've purposely put it just over what most things will fix it with. I also tried the fuel. I'm certain I did this, like, near when the game came out. I can't remember which vehicle it was, but you have to refuel and repair a vehicle, and I gave it my fuel until it was full, and then I took fuel back out of it, and I'm certain it didn't then keep saying, oh, you need fuel again. Whereas now, I tried it, like, I had it out because there's no point, but I put the fuel from the Taiga into the Zix, got it full, and that, like, mission thing in the top right corner said, like, the little fuel part of it had gone, but then when I took fuel back out of the Taiga, took it back out of the Zix, that, like, little icon in the top corner came back saying I now need fuel again. So, yeah. I'm driving through here, that's literally where you find the TZ16. Again, I edited it a little bit out. It's just because it just wasn't that fast through this mud. Like, it wasn't horrible, it wasn't uncomfortable or anything like that. It was just uneventful, and it was about this speed. So, to, yeah, sort of make the video 2 or 3 minutes shorter, it just helped to snip that one out. So we're basically coming back up to the cliffs again. Another thing, by the way, just as a bit of advice, as I said, like with, say, doing the fuel or repairs, I wouldn't repair or refuel it necessarily. Maybe fuel if you want it to try and drive along behind you, but you preferably don't really want to do it until you get there, because you could end up fixing it and then smash the suspension on it on the way. And admittedly, I believe it already has some health left, so you could still do that, but you could smash even more than it's got, if you know what I mean, and if you fix it, that's just even more to get damaged on the way. So you may as well, a bit like what I've done, stuck the loaf in the back, and I'm on my way to, like, I'll sort it out when I've got it to the destination. So I'm at the rock cliff. As I say, I always kind of stop and just savor the moment for a minute. I finally put the handbrake on the loaf, because I didn't do it last time and it was jiggling around in that sideboard. I'll be honest, I forgot the Zix could even have a sideboard. So going along here, you can see, yeah, somebody would rather have chain tyres right about now. To be fair though, again, I knew I was going to go across here, and I knew I could have switched to chained, but I knew, like, the Taiga isn't that wide really, so I've been over in the P16 and stuff, so I was like, I've got to give it a bit of a challenge. Tried to reverse, I was slipping around, and it's like, well, there's only one thing for it. Keep it pinned, fingers crossed. Works like a beauty. See, again though, the Zix just took damage there, so... And regardless of whether I haven't repaired it yet, so it obviously can take its own damage, but yeah. If it fell off the cliff and half smashed itself to pieces on the floor, any repairs I had done would have been a bit of a waste of time. I just changed the side of the winch point because I'm about to go obviously round here, and by winching it to the other side I know I could keep the Zix, at least the front, like the steering, and miss that dip, and then if it drags the back end over, that's fine. I'm going down here. What I need to do now, really, what I should have done is turned left, but I was so busy having a good time. I started going this way. I know what you're all thinking. Did I just witness a goddamn horse of a vehicle? You did, we all did. It's just what the Lo4f does. It's a goddamn beast. It's a professional. That's why we don't put a healthy Lo4f down, you see. And some people say like the dolphin is its dad and that, but the Lo4f created itself. It's self-raising. I mean, it's not bloody flatbread, is it? It's a Lo4f. It's rising up. It's back on the street. It's fucking Baker Street. So I mean, we're off. Like I said, I wasn't ready to let go of the old beast yet. But as you can see, I mean, it's not my first time. It's one of the first times I've managed to get it into a sideboard just from laying on my side, but I have drove up rocks and all sorts and jumped into sideboards every now and then when the occasion permits such a thing. But yeah, I mean, all things considered, I'd say it went pretty well. Those are the rocks that, I think it was the club might have got stuck on them. Yeah, I think it was. The flat face club. We're coming up to this bit again. It's a bit of an awkward sod. It's like a narrow passage. That's what she said. And there's all the bunkers on the other side of it. You've got to visit all these for a mission, but yeah, that's basically where we are. If you've seen some of the gameplay, I got Bruce stuck in here because he had his little crane legs. His little Bruce legs got stuck, but we soon got him out of there. And this thing, I'm not actually particularly sure why, but for some reason now, it just decided that it's a complete anchor. Like a complete wanker, but I reversed it, gave it just a tiny little tap, drove forward and it was fine, so I'm not sure, unless the very corner of the bumper got hooked in the rock or something, but I don't really know other than that. And then I was umming and ahhing whether to go... There's a road that goes round the bunkers, or I can just kind of point it at the icy lake river bit and go flying down there. So I was just looking, as you can see now, I was supposed to turn just after I got over that rock cliff, basically where the Lo4f rescued itself. I should have gone down there. However, I really don't like that bit of road because it's basically there. If you've seen the end of one of my videos with the gameplay where the trees started glitching through the trailer, and I wasn't sure if it'd do the same with the Zix anyway, so I wasn't too keen on going down there, but I was supposed to in theory, but I forgot. This is what, like, look, add a bloody pull mode. I'm pulling, nearly there, and then maybe because I started my engine, I don't know, the Taiga just decided to drive forward, and that was that. So I thought, sod it, I'll just flip it with the flip at the Taiga right about now. It's like, oh my god, it's all going horribly wrong. See, just imagine if I left the Lo4f behind. I'd be recovering to garage, or I'd be sending something else from the garage. And to be fair, as I was originally planning on leaving the Lo4f, as you can see now, I mean, it's goddamn professional. We sort them out, they're messing around. But as I've only got now rocks to bomb over, and then I'm going to be driving through ice, yeah, I wanted to recover the Lo4f anyway, so before I did, it gave its life so that I could make it to the end of the mission. I gave all my fuel to the Taiga, and I fixed the Zix as much as it could, where, like I said, it leaves about 19 points left over, but I can't help that if they're just going to be a troll about it. Yeah, so there you go, but that's my point. Like, if I was done with the maintenance trailer, I'd have to either, yeah, dump it here, or I'd have the maintenance add-on, which still, I don't believe, would fix all of that anyway. And, yeah, I'm now with a maintenance trailer trying to go over ice and all sorts. And part of the reason why I didn't drive around the bunkers, even though it may well have been quicker, it probably certainly would have been quicker when you factor in that I rolled the Zix, but I didn't have a silly amount of fuel, and yeah, if I'm honest, it's generally in my nature in this game to just see the shortest path possible and risk it. So that's what I did. And we're not quite there yet, but we're about to get to like there's like a big circle of an icy river. If any of you have done the Battle on the Ice contest, you basically do like a lap, and we're sort of approaching that from the opposite side to where you select the mission. And as I said, this Tiger's doing like pretty nicely. I'm pulling the Zix. I believe by now the Zix has run out of fuel, and I could give it some fuel, and I'm sure I'd probably have plenty to still get to the destination, because it's not that far away. But I just wanted to see like how well the Tiger does dragging it while it's got, yeah, there you go, no fuel or anything. I was just checking the map quickly, but I soon decided I don't really care. I'll just drive where I feel like it. I know roughly where I'm going. Where I am right now, I believe, is the 4th checkpoint on the Battle on the Ice mission. And now this is kind of the way you would go for the second half of the the contest. Sorry, not the mission. And in some light vehicles, you could just drive along the middle of the ice. I've actually been... I've only had a couple more goes, but I've had about 3 goes with the Car Marshal and 3 goes with the Lodestar. And both of them are pretty good at doing this mission. The Lodestar, for me, I just can't get a clean run where I don't get at least once where my tyre punches through. With the Car Marshal, with the big, nice, wide tyres, it actually does, yeah, pretty nicely on this. And I've got it under 3 minutes now. But I've not got, I still wouldn't consider it like... Oh, it's a pretty fast run, but I know for pretty damn sure I could shave a fair amount of time off it. Just got to get that perfect run, really. But it's a nice little mission to do. It's about 4 grand. You can't, because you do a lap, you end up back where you started, and then if you wanted to do it long term, I'd definitely bring some kind of trailer or another truck with a maintenance add-on that you can just recover or whatever when you're done with it. Yeah, because you're going to take possibly damage. You're definitely going to use fuel, obviously. You don't really want a roof rack on whatever vehicle you're trying it with. And yeah, getting around that bit, that's one of the awkward bits. Getting around that tree. But also, as I was going in there, those or trees more, lying on the floor, blocked my Tiger again, to where I had to like reverse off them and kind of keep nudging them a bit, and then they'd fall through the floor. And yeah, I don't think that's as good as it was like, say, last week or whatever, since they basically fixed it a week or 2 ago, and then now they've unfixed it. Typical. I knew when I was going through there, I was like, bet the bloody Zix catches. I could have moved the winch point over to the other side, but I just kept it pinned, fingers crossed, took my chances, and yeah, it backfired, but only like 30 seconds, probably not even that. I just drove forward, reversed round the other side of the trees, and did that. And we're pretty much here now. Around where I am right now is where you get the F750 mission. Sort of opposite me on that snowbank is the knee-deep mission for the Calm Lo4f, and that's why I already had a feeling I had to drop the Lo4f off like here, so that's why I kind of towed that basically there. And that's it. I'm going to give it my fuel quickly just to top it up as much as I can, and then recover this. It did some weird, like, my engine kept sounding like it was running inside the garage. And yeah, started bringing one of these back. I didn't need to bring this maintenance trailer, but I just wanted to, half out of principle. I mean, as I said, I believe this has got 300 points on the maintenance trailer. So has the Lo4f. Obviously this has got a lot more fuel. If I'd originally gone with this setup, like the maintenance add-on and the Lo4f, I would have been able to do the like fix the Zix up. But yeah, if I'd just gone with this Voron on its own like this, I still wouldn't have been able to. Funny enough, I genuinely didn't realise until about 10 minutes ago that my Lo4f fell over there, because as you can see I stopped. I must have, either my cat jumped up or I grabbing my coffee or something, but I looked away from the screen and I didn't even know that bit sort of happened. But yeah, the Lo4f just tipped over at the end, and then because it's a goddamn horse of a vehicle, It realised the mission wasn't done yet, and it just tipped itself back onto its wheels, even with a bloody roof rack on. To be honest, I quite like the Voron as well. I don't think it's amazing in the ice. It's not bad, but I don't think it's one of the best or anything. If it had, say, custom mud, something nice and wide, it'd be nice. But yeah, everywhere else, it's got very nice high range gear. It stays in gear incredibly well in high range. Like, you can practically stop and it still won't stall. And even when you go in like 1 mile an hour, you can stick it in high range and it basically just zips up to speed in the Voron. Grad anyway. Well, I've tried all the Vorons now, and I mean, I suppose it's pretty obvious, but this one is definitely my favourite out of them. So we're effectively driving towards where that Battle on the Ice mission is. But obviously I'm heading back to that Zix to... I think I need to, yeah, give it a bit of fuel and repair it. Last, yeah, 19 points. Well, there might even be more than 19 points, actually, because when I was towing the Zix towards there, like, obviously I was still smashing it a bit as well. So that's another thing, I suppose, even if they... say made it 299 repair points, so I could have fixed it all with a loaf. There's an extremely low chance, unless you're going very slow and carefully, there's a very low chance you'd get it to its destination without taking damage anyway. And if I'm on it, if you have to go that slow and careful not to, it'll be quicker just to do this. And like I said before, I did kind of go the longer way round because I just wasn't really paying attention, to be honest. So there's a few thicker bits of ice there that I knew from the Battle on the Ice mission that I could drive over. That is the contest. I'm effectively lapping it backwards now, but I've only got to go a little bit down here. See, like, it's not bad in the ice. I mean, if I got more into it, it's more that once the ice breaks and it tips up like vertically in front of you, it's like it glitches in just solid. And like, I've tried pulling some stuff out with like the flat face colob and all sorts, and it just, when that ice has decided it ain't going anywhere, it ain't going anywhere, and it doesn't really matter. Pretty much it doesn't matter what you have. There's only a few vehicles that every now and then can pull off such a job. Yeah, it still seems weird seeing the Zix with the sideboard on it. I went and looked at my review though, like where I looked through the different frame add-ons, and yeah, it had it back then, but I just can't ever remember seeing it on. I mean, I could have fixed it with the Voron, but out of principle, as I brought myself another loaf, cocoa loaf this time, fueled it up, that's all done. And then the repairs, job done. So what I could have done, and I suppose what I probably would do actually, if I was preparing for this mission, I took the Tiger when I could have took the Dolphin, and I probably normally would, but I was like, I've done a lot with the Dolphin. I mean, Loaf finished it off, just stuck a winch on it and drove into that square. Yeah, I would probably bring the Dolphin with a sideboard bed, have one Loaf in the back, one Loaf on the roof, and then fix it up, and yeah, tow it with the Dolphin. But the Tiger was fine. I mean, look, this thing, that ice in front of the wheels is absolutely just wedge solid. It's like the Loaf's going to fail its first rescue mission, but then it's goddamn beast, like, finish the mission, Loaf. You see, it catches its little loafy wheels on a piece of ice that most other things would just roll over, and it got the goddamn job done. And I'm genuinely, I don't think I've left the footage in on this one, but I've been trying to pull stuff out, like I say, with a flat face collab, with Bruce that's got 10 wheels, and I tried to pull the Navistar out with the collab and Bruce. I believe it was the Navistar, and it was absolutely just wedge solid. Good old Mudrunner horn. I mean, for science, you never know. Pretty, yeah. What a surprising result. You never know though. A Loaf could have fell out the arse. Could be one hiding in that little maintenance thing on the back. And then, something that I was like, I wonder if I can do the good old Jeff special. with a maintenance add-on, because on the White Valley runway, I believe I have kind of got it going before, but like just very low chances. Whereas on this ice, particularly this blue just sheet of ice, it's incredibly slippy. So yeah, went for the Jeff Special, and it actually does it on PS4, even with the maintenance add-on, which, as you can see, like, god damn, I see what the problem is. Yeah, having a good time. Smashed a few trucks up. That's usually how the Jeff Special goes. Taking my club for a walk. How's that? Oh my god. Yes, Navistar, let's go and say hello. Tipped her across the little ice bits. See? Because I've scanned the water, and I know my little ice bridges now. Said hello to the Navistar. Come to say hello to Bruce. Oh my god, I'm understeering. Yes. Bang. Hello, Bruce. And then, look at this. Like, what? I mean, let's be honest. That's a fucking horn when you detonate your own suspension. Look at it shaking the vehicle. So yeah, I don't know what that was all about, but it didn't do it all the time. It was just some weird bug that seemed to happen. Like, I pressed the horn and yeah. Is it just me, or has it got a slight James Dean Porsche 550 Spider feel about it going on there? I'm liking it. Yeah, it was just to quickly show you, this is how I was, or partly, how I was dredging the ice. Get yourself a Bruce. 2 wheels on the good stuff. 2 wheels in the water. Get a crane. Drag a loaf behind you. Little dredging loaf. The loaf is bloody great. Stick it in the ice and then just winch it towards something, and it just cuts these nice little channels out of everything.